Some mirrors don't just reflect. They reveal things you were never meant to see. Emily arrived at an old, faded hotel for a weekend stay. The lobby smelled faintly of mildew, and the carpet's red pattern was worn and dark. The front desk clerk handed her the key to room 712, without looking up. The hallway leading to her room was dimly lit. Each step echoed against the walls, and she noticed the doors seemed older than the hotel itself. The silence was almost too heavy. Emily opened the door to room 712. It was small but tidy, with a single bed, a desk, and a large full-length mirror on one wall. The window let in the soft glow of the city lights. She placed her suitcase on the bed and unpacked her things, setting clothes and toiletries neatly. The room felt ordinary, yet there was an odd chill in the air. After walking all day, Emily decided to change into more comfortable clothes. She turned toward the mirror and began. As she changed, a fleeting shadow appeared behind her in the reflection. Emily froze and spun around, but the room was empty. She shook her head, thinking it was her imagination. Returning to the mirror, the shadow was faintly visible again, moving slightly closer each time. Her pulse raced. The figure seemed humanoid but distorted, with long, flowing hair and a face she couldn't make out clearly. Emily stepped back, accidentally knocking over a chair. The shadow didn't react, but a cold breeze swept across the room, though the window was closed. Trying to stay calm, she examined the mirror more closely. The figure mimicked her movements perfectly, like a dark reflection of herself. The lights flickered. Emily gasped, her heart pounding. When the room lit again, the figure had vanished, but the air still felt heavy and oppressive. She noticed faint smudges on the mirror's surface, like handprints pressed against the glass from inside. Fear made her stomach twist. Emily backed away from the mirror slowly, glancing at every corner of the room. Shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally in the dim light. A soft tapping sound echoed from the mirror, like fingernails dragging across glass. She froze, too scared to move. Every instinct screamed at her to leave, but curiosity held her in place. She wanted to know what the shadow wanted. Slowly, she turned her back to the mirror, raising her hands cautiously. The figure's reflection mirrored her movements exactly, perfectly synchronized. Emily took a deep breath, trying to steady herself, but the room grew colder. Goosebumps rose on her arms, and her hair stood on end. Suddenly, the lights flickered again. When they stabilized, the figure had shifted closer, just barely behind her reflection. Emily's breathing became shallow. She tried to speak, but no words came out. The silence pressed on her chest. She realized the figure wasn't fully visible in the room, it only existed in the mirror. Yet the presence was tangible, almost alive. The cold sensation intensified, making her shiver. She could feel the room watching her, waiting for a reaction. Her suitcase lay forgotten on the bed. She wanted to run, but her legs felt like lead. Fear rooted her to the spot. Emily took another cautious step back, the mirror dominating her view. The figure remained perfectly still, but the air vibrated with tension. Her eyes darted to the corners of the room. No one was there physically, yet the shadow's presence was undeniable. The lights flickered a third time, briefly plunging the room into darkness. Emily's heart pounded as the shadow grew slightly taller in the reflection. A soft whisper seemed to emanate from the mirror, though no sound was audible to the ears. She felt it in her chest, pressing down. Emily grabbed her clothes, trying to distract herself. The figure's reflection continued to mimic her every movement, perfectly synchronized. Her hands shook as she attempted to zip her jacket. The shadow reached toward her, a dark outline, as if warning her. Suddenly, the lights stabilized. Emily noticed the mirror now had faint streaks, like someone or something had touched it from inside. She bolted to the door, fumbling with the key and throwing it open. The hallway was empty, silent, and dimly lit. She ran to the front desk, breathless, and explained what had happened. The clerk looked uneasy, avoiding eye contact. He told her, quietly, that room 712 had a history. Guests often reported strange reflections and moving shadows in that very room. Emily realized she had not imagined it. Others had felt the same cold, oppressive presence that she did. Later, she read online forums about room 712. Guests described similar experiences. Shadows, cold spots, and mirrors that reflected more than reality. She promised herself she would never return. The image of the shadowy figure, perfectly mimicking her, haunted her memory. Even now, she shivers, thinking about the handprints in the mirror, the cold that filled the room, and the sense of being watched. The mirror didn't just reflect her, it reflected fear itself, alive and patient, waiting for the next guest. Emily left the hotel immediately, vowing never to step foot in room 712 again, carrying the story and the terror with her forever.